Hi, everybody, and welcome back. Today, what I wanted to talk to you all about is microphone choice. And more specifically, is microphone choice a creative choice? Now, I'm of the belief that microphone choice is a creative choice. So I'm going to go over that real quick on why I think that. So first of all, this is a Heil PR40, the microphone that's in front of me you're listening to right now. And the Heil PR40, I find on my voice with the right EQ and the right compression and such sounds good to my ears. And so to me, a creative choice would be picking a microphone. The first step is just trying to find that mic that suits that person's voice, right? So, for example, this microphone, I think it makes me sound good. But some people don't like the sound of a Heil PR40, for example. Some people really like the sound, and actually a lot of people, of, say, the Shure SM7B, for example. So if you like the Shure SM7B, then you might go and use one of those to record your sound instead. Again, for me, while I do like the sound of an SM7B, I think the Heil sounds really good. And I will admit, I've had the Heil mic for about 10 years now. I'm not kidding you. It's been about 10 years. And I can tell you right now that I do still like the microphone. I did when I first got it, and I do still like it to this day. So not much has changed, really. But the microphone itself, I have to say, personally, doesn't sound too bad. Now, that's on my voice and in my environment. And those are all different factors that's going to play into it. The preamp you're putting it into is going to be another factor. This mic, for example, needs a lot of clean gain, as does the SM7B. So both those mics are going to sound worse on a preamp that can't give you a lot of clean gain. Okay? So in my case, I'm lucky that I have a preamp built into my Pocket 6K Pro and in my audio board back there, an XR Series Behringer console, both that are pretty good on giving me a lot of gain. And so I can get a pretty decent sound out of the Heil PR40 between the two of them. And right now you're listening to the Pocket 6K Pro recording the sound. Or outputting the sound. My switcher's actually recording it. But regardless, the reality of it is that choice is very creative, if you ask me, because you can tune what you want it to sound like. So for example, let's say that I wanted the Alexa look for an image, just to give you a metaphor here. Well, if I had the money, it would make sense probably just to go and grab an Arri Alexa off the shelf, pay the money to rent it, be done with it, or buy one, whatever, to shoot my movie on. Now, to me, a microphone choice is kind of the same thing. If you like the sound of an SM7B, you might be able to EQ or do different things to your mic, probably mainly EQ, to try and get it to sound close to an SM7B. But if that's what you want, you probably should just get an SM7B in the first place and save yourself a lot of time. Especially if you're somebody that I would say is not necessarily sound expert, a sound expert or such. I have to say I've made this mic sound a lot better in the last few years than I did when I first got it, many years ago now. Because when I first got it, I didn't know quite as much about sound as I do now. And so now I know kind of how to tune it more to my voice than I did back in the day. So the SM7B, in my mind, I think it sounds better out of the box, probably on most people's voice, than the Heil PR40. But you can mix the Heil PR40, and if you do it right, I think you can make it sound pretty good, at least to my ears, with my voice, again, in my environment. One thing to keep in mind is this is a dynamic mic. The SM7B is a dynamic mic as well, but you have condenser mics as well. And condenser microphones, I've got two pencil condenser shotgun mics. I believe they're pencil condenser. They're Samson CO2s. And these mics I sometimes use as a boom mic on a stand out of the frame for different videos that I'm doing. I've used it on live streams before when I don't want to show a mic in the frame, etc. And I have to say, it doesn't sound that bad. But one of the things I do notice is it picks up, and this is partially because it's farther away from me being a boom mic, but another part of it is, in my experience, and I don't have a lot of experience with condenser mics, okay? But what I do have, it seems to be that they pick up more of the room, they pick up more reverb. So if I do, that's way more likely to pick up a lot of the room if I'm using a microphone such as, say, a Samson CO2 in my experience. Even if you talk kind of close to the mic, which is really not designed for, but I suppose you could, I find it still just picks up more of the room in the tests I've done. So I personally really like the idea. I find that dynamic mics work better, for example, like the Heil PR40 in an environment like this than my Samson CO2 does a condenser. Because even when I talk to the condenser mic, the Samson CO2 up close, which is really not designed for, that will help a little bit on the reverb and picking up the room. But it still doesn't completely get rid of it. And look, in a perfectly sound-treated environment, it doesn't really matter as much. But I don't have a perfectly soundproof environment. I got a computer running over here. I've got a sound blanket behind me that's going to try and knock some of that reverb down. but there's still reverb coming up from the ceiling here, or coming down from the ceiling here above me, because I have a tall ceiling in this room. And then I also have no sound blanket over in this direction behind the cameras. So between all of these factors, I definitely, no questions about it, have reverb issues in this space. That right there gives you an example. Now, on the Hollow PR40, you might not be able to pick it up that good, but it is there. And so microphone choice may also be what recording environment you're in. If you're in a perfect soundproofed recording environment, then you don't necessarily have to worry about a microphone that's going to pick up things like reverb and such, because you're not really going to have any to pick up in the first place in the actual environment. And I do think that the environment is very important to get the right place. I mean, I've got carpet on the floor I put down here with the help of family. I have put back here, a sound blanket. Okay. I've got another sound blanket that I already own. I need to get hung up over here behind the cameras eventually. It's on my list of things to do. But the point of the matter is that I'm trying to get it as close as I can to a good environment. We're not all the way there right now. So you might still pick up some of the room. A car just drove by. You might have picked up that, etc. My point of the matter is that microphones like this, it's a creative choice. They're always creative choice. And again, if you're using a boom mic, there's different boom mics. And, for example, like you got pencil condenser, you got short shotgun, you've got regular shotgun, and these are all different in different ways and kind of best use cases for certain things, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So to answer the question that I posed at the beginning of this video and in the video, I do think microphones choice is a creative choice. Let me know what you think in the comments of this video if you have any thoughts on this. And everybody, thanks for watching. I'll see you all again very soon. Goodbye, everybody.
And action.